When I was around 10, 11 years old in fourth grade, my doctor, who I had no idea who this person was at the time, told me that my body was going to try and kill me for the rest of my life, you know? A lot for a parent and a child to hear at that age in life, and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Something that was put upon me for the rest of my life. It's not I'm not here to tell everybody that it's good. It's by no means something that I wish upon anybody, or any chronic or illness or any disease. What I'm here to kind of explain in a few key pillars is how I've turned this disease into something that has allowed me to become one of the most disciplined people just that I know. And this isn't me standing on ego or anything. This is me doing daily consistent habits to literally make sure that I don't die. And I've kind of applied that to other mediums and other disciplines into my life. This video will apply to anybody who has a chronic illness or a disease, or has been through a family divorce, or has just had hard shit happen to them and are looking to, go down this reframing path. It's not here to just totally ignore that it's not something that's shit. Obviously, having a chronic illness or a disease or cancer or diabetes or anything is terrible, right? But it's how to reframe it into something that can be used as a positive or a consistent or disciplined factor into your life. Here's what I would say something like this does to most people is it makes you grow up really freaking fast. Instantly. When I was in middle school, having to go to the nurse prior to lunch, leaving the entire grade to go check my blood sugar and poke it and make sure that I was good and dosed, and then go to lunch. And was a weird routine for 4 or 5 years of my life, as a middle schooler, as a grade schooler going into middle school, and then high school, it kind of switches a little bit, but certain things that make you grow up when you have something like this. This happened to me when I was younger, and this could happen to people when they're older, but regardless, you have to have this weird new sense of self-agency. And then growing up, it was almost like this shadow figure thing that was just always in your life, and you always had to be aware of it, and you always had to stay on top of it. And getting out of, middle school into high school, there was a lot of body dysmorphia type of things, because also with type 1 diabetics, we don't create something called amylin, which our pancreas, our beta cells don't create insulin and amylin. Insulin is your most anabolic hormone. Everybody knows this. Well, maybe not everybody knows this, but insulin's very important. We can dose for that. What we can't dose for is amylin. And you know what amylin is? Amylin is the hormone that tells your brain and your body that you're full. Oh, no endocrine, no doctor, nobody. I just made a post on TikTok, here it is, of me basically talking about how we don't have amylin creation, and thousands of diabetics related and go, nobody told me this. It's simple things like that you have to figure out, microbially in your body that nobody tells you about, that you have to get really disciplined on. Is my food proper? Are my macros proper? What am I eating? What's my nutrition? I don't need 4 plates because I'm not full. So it was like, mama, I just can eat, and maybe that was just me. And I had to deal with that, in my later middle school and high school years. I dealt with a lot of body dysmorphia. Nobody talks about the T1D bullying. It was more fun with some friends, but some people really fucking dig into you, and you're like, damn, you have no fucking idea. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that in scenarios or downfalls or bad cards that have been dealt into their life. As an aside, those people that do bully you about that stuff, it is a insecurity on their end. So none of those guys know me now. I'm doing way better than those guys, and none of that matters. Back to the story of me basically I was being taken over by this thing for a long majority of my life until around 17, 18 was when I was still disciplined into it, but not really using it as fuel to the fire. And that's when things really started to change for me personally. What really changed was gamifying it. When I was 18, literally right as my 18th birthday, I got this type 1 diabetic tattoo. It was almost like conquering my demons, and I started going to the gym and building a little bit more confidence and being on top of my nutrition and my supplements and what I look to actually achieve and how to use it. It was never allow the thing or the hardship or the failure to bring you down in life. And I know it's a tough reframe, right? But at some point, are you gonna let this external thing control you, or are you going to control it? Because in the beginning, it controls you, of course, right? It's this thing, for years, it'll probably control you. But if you can get to that point where this divorce, this breakup, this cancer, this disease doesn't control me, and I control it, and I learn from the situation that has been essentially put on me, that's when things really start to change. Lastly is using your disadvantage as your key to consistency, right? Because with consistency, it's something that you have to be consistent at, whether it be the gym, whether it be your relationships, your finances, your network, your community, your job. I just came in here on a Sunday in my work just to film this because I like the aesthetic. And my biggest thing is, why would you not implement what you literally have to do with this thing that you have forever and ever into other disciplines into your life, right? So I carried that consistency, the dosing, the checking my sugar, the making sure that I'm trending a line that is going to continually improve my scenarios and circumstances into other facets of my life, whether it be the gym or finances or relationships or scenarios. That is the total reframe that you can utilize from some scenario that has been put upon your life towards other disciplines and areas of your own life. I'm gonna leave you with this because you have something that you simply maybe can or cannot change. It has happened or is continually happening. What can you do today? One, if you haven't been able to take this thing over, whether it be the disease or the diabetes or the scenario or the discomfort or the circumstances, if you can't control that, get that first. Get that down first. Utilize it as a motivational factor and add some fuel to the fire to what it is you're trying to be in this life. And two, if you do have that down, which I feel like I have, apply that to another discipline. Pick one, whether it be the gym this week, whether it be talking to another stranger, whether it be journaling or meditating or yoga, or staying on top of your nutrition and eating a certain amount of protein and having a caloric deficit or a caloric surplus depending on what you're trying to do in the gym. Like, pick a discipline that you could apply to the consistency that you literally have to have with this thing that you have been not blessed with, but just put into your circumstances, and bring that into another discipline. That's my one piece of homework and advice that I would say to you. If you can stay consistent in other aspects and scenarios in your life with this thing or this circumstance that has already happened to you, you are going to be such a different individual. You're going to be so dangerous. People will see it. They can feel it. I see it when I see other diabetics in the gym or other people who have like a chronic illness and they're also on top of it, is because they've taken that scenario, this shitty thing, and brought it into other disciplines into their life. I know it's not easy. It certainly didn't happen to me over a day or a night or even a year, but if you can slowly work your way towards it, I know you're going to become the best version of yourself. So till next time, guys, peace, love, follow your boy for more. See ya.